The narcissist's stare. What are those secrets behind the narcissist's eyes that are telling us if we pay close enough attention and don't dismiss those feelings within us that come when we feel or see or recognise that stare from a narcissist? Often we dismiss those feelings that are trying to tell us something, our instincts that are trying to tell us something, because we don't have any form of physical evidence to go on to listen to those instincts. We can sometimes judge ourselves a bit too much when we should actually be listening to ourselves. So this video is going to be about the narcissist's eyes and the narcissist's stares. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. I hope you're finding the information helpful on the channel. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be or have been dealing with throughout your life, the things that you have been through throughout your life, and different methods to find what works for you as a person to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. So when it comes to a narcissist stare, sometimes their looks can be extremely intense, as there's almost an extreme force behind that look, behind that gaze at times. We just don't quite recognise what is going on behind that look. Often people do say the eyes are the gateway to the soul, or things along those lines. And yes, if we pay close enough attention to the looks that people are giving us, it often gives us an idea of the thoughts that are going off within their minds. We do have to be careful on making a judgment, because there can be different meanings behind different looks depending on different people. So you've also got to look at people's patterns of behaviour, just not a look they might give. For instance, a narcissist, I'll go into it in the video, but a narcissist will often look away if they are telling a lie. You can also have someone who's shy that might look away if they're saying something that they don't feel comfortable with sharing that information about themselves. So you are looking at patterns of behaviour. If their stories aren't matching up, you're most likely dealing with someone that's got something to hide and is trying to hide it from you with physical evidence or by their voice, but their eyes give the game away. And then you've also got people that just feel uncomfortable, so look away. So what are the narcissist's eyes telling you? So if someone has 5 of the 9 characteristics of the narcissist personality disorder, I'll have that video up here. If they've got at least 5 of these traits within them, their eyes will most likely be telling you the following. So that stare can be that intense gaze where their eyes are wide open. They can almost be looking at you in amazement, in awe of you. Or they can be looking at you almost judgmental with that envious face. They can be looking at you with a smugness within their eyes, or they can be looking at you with a coldness within their eyes. In the beginning, when they've got that admiration face on and they are mirroring you, it can be that intense admiration stare, that amazement stare, that way you feel really deeply connected to them, and they've got a warmth to their eyes because they are mirroring who you are as a person. You become connected within that gaze. Sometimes you can be in a crowded room, yet if you're in the beginning stages of a relationship with a narcissist and they've got your eye contact, they've got your attention, you can feel like there is only the 2 of you within that room. When a narcissist is doing this, it makes you feel comfortable with them, it makes you feel cared for. It. And if you've just come out of a relationship, or if your parents never listen to you, if your ex never paid attention to you, if you always felt like people were judging you, criticising you, putting you down, invalidating you, especially if you had narcissistic parents, but also if you had a narcissistic ex, by the end, they will not have been listening to who you were as a person. So when you meet someone that is then listening to who you are as a person, it becomes intense and you feel comfortable around them. And then when they start asking about your previous relationships, your childhood, you become more attached to them and more willing to open up to them because you've no reason not to. You're coming from a place of honesty and trust, so you believe that they are doing the same. Even if you've been hurt in the past, you would believe that someone is coming from the same place that you are, so you open up to them. And with that, they can be really paying attention and hanging on almost every word you're saying. And if somebody's hurt you, they can sit there and claim that they would never do anything like that to you. And if they ever lay their hands on that person, and how could someone be so cruel? And they almost come across as your hero, your saviour. And at the same time, while they've got that gaze, while they're building up that connection, they start asking about your dreams, your hopes, your passions, what you would like from life, so that they can agree with you. And as they're mirroring your body language, as they've got that eye contact, that gaze, that intense stare, and as they're mirroring your dreams from life, that love bombing does become extremely intense. They are idolizing you with their eyes, to put you on that pedestal, to lift you back up from where you once were. And it is an intense and an amazing place to be, and there's no reason to believe that anything untoward is going on. When you do meet somebody in the future, make sure it's a two-way conversation. Make sure there is that two-way conversation. We ourselves, when people are asking us questions, we don't want to be rude by interrupting and asking about them. Even though we want to know about them, we might not want to come across as rude. So we can end up going with the flow of the conversation, almost that people-pleasing without realising we're people-pleasing. So sometimes breaking the conversation down and asking them for information out about them, trying to make it a two-way conversation, because a narcissist will often not want to do that. They'll be fixed on gaining information about you, so further down the line they can use that against you. Sometimes you can be out and about, you can just be doing something and you can feel that intense stare, like somebody is watching you. You just get that feeling when someone's watching you. I remember being out within about 4 weeks of meeting, I'm not going to diagnose, but within 4 weeks of meeting them, and I was playing pool with my children, and I can just remember that feeling. And as I looked round, they were literally staring at me. I can remember at the time not being able to work out what it was, and I can remember feeling very uncomfortable. Looking back now, I see it as that predatory glare, but as I didn't know them, as I didn't understand what was actually happening, and so they almost looked a bit vacant. They were looking directly at me, but I couldn't get their attention, and it didn't last that long. So although my instincts were trying to tell me something, I shut them down, because I was just, they must just be in a world of their own, and they just happened to be looking in my direction as I happened to look round and see that they were looking in my direction. And even though I waved, they ignored me, but they were looking directly at me. It is that almost predatory glare when they're either gathering data on you or they're feeling envious towards you. And sometimes it can be mistaken as they're looking admiringly at you, especially if they do acknowledge you. You can look at other people admiringly. You can admire someone for their looks or their talents or their achievements and be happy for that person. So if someone looks at you, you can take it as an admiring look. It's like, say, if you turn around and wave and they wave back at you, you can take it as an admiration, a look of admiration, not realising that it is more that predatory look within them, which can also be the stare of envy. So if you're talking to someone they don't want you talking to, or if you're doing something they don't want you doing, that they feel jealous of, that they feel envious of, they can give you that stare of envy, and you might not know at the time what that stare's all about. Again, it's just going to make you feel uneasy, it's just going to make you feel uncomfortable, or wonder what is actually. And we don't question their stare, we question ourselves. We think, oh, what's that look for? What have I done? And if we ask them, they'll tell us what we've done, and we blame ourselves, and we get into the whole gaslighting situation. But they can look at you with that intense, envious face. They can look at you like they care and like they're interested in what you've got to say, but they're actually vacant. They're actually not listening to what you're saying. They have cognitive empathy. So in one way, they know how they are supposed to feel, or they know how we potentially feel, but they don't have the emotional empathy to connect. So they can play on our empathy, they can play off our empathy, and they can use our empathy against us. So they can give us those almost pitying looks when something has happened to us, where you would expect most people to give you comfort, or where you would comfort somebody else if that was something had happened to someone you cared about, how you would comfort that person. But with a narcissist, they'll almost give you a look of pity, where it almost seems like they care, but they don't care. And you can't quite work out what is happening within that situation. Again, your instincts might be saying that something feels off, but everyone's different, everyone reacts different. People don't always like showing emotion, and we make those excuses up within our own mind, and often a narcissist will gaslight excuses into our minds. They can also then go on their own pity play, and usually when you are discussing something that's happened to you, that's hurt you or hurt your feelings, you can strike up that two-way conversation with them, and people will discuss similar things that's happened to them in a way to relate to each other, to understand each other, to help each other out, not to dismiss your feelings or dismiss what's happened to you or bring it all about them. It's to have that two-way conversation, try and help each other out, mutual understanding. With a narcissist, it will be to diminish whatever has happened to you and to invalidate whatever's happened to you, and whatever happened to them is far, far, far worse, to bring the attention back onto them. So they might look to pity you in the moment, but they will quickly turn the conversation into all about them to gain that attention that they require, as they believe they're entitled to it. The sheepish look, the dismissive look, the avoidant look, often when they are lying about something, they might even cover their mouth as they are lying about something, but it's that look where if you go to have a conversation about something they'd said they'd have a conversation about, or they are causing that intrigue where they don't want to give you the full information, or lying by omission, so that you're left questioning, wondering what on earth is happening. And if you go to ask them and they don't want to tell you, this is when they might not look at you, they might look away from you. Again, you've got to listen to what they're actually saying, what your feelings are, their pattern of behaviour, because some people can just be shy, so it depends on the circumstances. Some people can be anxious. People with anxiety do often struggle with making eye contact. People with depression can struggle with making eye contact. With a narcissist, they're usually quite arrogant, so most of the time they will make direct eye contact, and with some especially psychopaths, they will often make eye contact when they are telling outright lies. And some narcissists that believe the lies they are telling will make direct eye contact. Some, if they feel like you've got the information where it might work against them, they will go into that sheepish look. They will look away, or they will gaze into the distance. They will change the subject, and they will start gaslighting you with things like, you misunderstood me, that never happened, you're overreacting, you're being too sensitive. They will create some conflict, they will create some drama to get out of the situation they're in so that they're not held responsible for their behaviour. When they devalue you, it's that look of disapproval, that look of disappointment where you feel like you want the ground to swallow you whole because you might have done something that you think is good and most people think is good, but because the narcissist is envious of you or doesn't want you doing something, and it can be down to an outfit you've put on because they want to control where you go and what you wear. So it can be down to the friends you're going out with. They can give you that disapproving, pitiful look that makes you turn inwards and question, oh, I wonder if I do look okay in this. And some narcissists will covertly say, do you think you should wear that? So with their look and with their words, it seems like they might care, like they'll walk into the room and look at you in kind of so that you question who you are as a person and not their actions, not their behaviour. Or you can have the overt that will tell you exactly what they think you look like in what you're wearing, or what they think of the people that you're going out with to cause the isolation. So you can have that look of almost disgust coming from them. People can look at people with a look of disgust. There's a difference. Usually when people look at people with a look of disgust, it's because somebody has done something to hurt another person. Someone has done something that is against a moral code. Someone has done something that's against the law, against the rules. Someone has been disrespectful. Someone has exploited someone. Someone has done something that is hideous. So people can give a look of disgust. With a narcissist, it's the reason behind why they're giving the look of disgust. And it's usually not because the person's done anything wrong. It's because the narcissist is wanting to devalue that person so they can gain control over that person. When they are discarding, you've often got that look of coldness within their eyes. That look of contempt, as though, and it does make you feel like you are worthless and like you are beneath them. The look from a narcissist can make us feel so many things without the words and the actions behind that actual look that makes us feel worthless. We might not have even done anything wrong, but when they give you that look that makes you feel beneath them, it makes you question who you are as a person. Or it can be when you're sat there in the pain that they have caused you, and they will offer no support. They will sit there and watch you cry with that little glint in their eye, with the smirk on the face, and they will blame you for the pain you're feeling. And you end up trying to apologise and make it up to them for the pain they caused you. And that look, you can be so overwhelmed by emotion, but because of that intense look, you might catch that glimpse. Then you question yourself when they come at you with you're being too sensitive, you're overreacting. You question whether you are being too sensitive rather than the fact that they don't care. There's the stare of malice when they seek to harm, they seek to hurt you, they plot some form of revenge against you, whether it's the smear campaigns, whether they're about to go into the almighty rage to get you to freeze on the spot and conform to them and walk on eggshells in the future. But there is that look of malice within their eyes. There is the look that will make you feel unsafe. Again, sometimes because it's only a look and it might only be a moment's look, we can then question ourselves and not the person who is feeling that malice in that moment towards us for things that we haven't even done. It's often due to their envy of us, that they want to sabotage us in some way. They want to bring us down to feel better about themselves. They want to hurt us to run from their own pain. Or when the narcissist has suffered that narcissistic injury and you get the cold, the blank, the dark eyes that almost freezes the entire room. It freezes your soul. It can make you freeze on the spot out of panic, out of fear of what they are going to do. And that person you once fell in love with, that looked at you so intensely and so lovingly and so kindly, is gone. And in place, it looks like almost nobody is home. It's a bone chilling, spine chilling, whatever the word is. It's not a nice situation to be in. Sometimes we can see this look and run. Most of the times we freeze, because that look does have the ability to freeze you in that moment. And then there's their stare of the pity play, those puppy dog eyes that they can put on so well. So when they've reached the rage stare and they've done something to hurt you, and you might take action of leaving them, which they don't want you to do if they haven't got any other sources of supply lined up. So they then come at you with those pity play, those puppy dog eyes, to almost look like they care. And we know people make mistakes. We make mistakes as people because they've projected and blame shift and gaslit us. We can question our reactions to their actions and blame ourselves. Or when they're coming with, I'm sorry, if only you, and they've got those puppy dog eyes on. And if you look at them, because you care about them, because you have that object consistency, so even when there is conflict or distance, you still care about that person, even if you don't want to care about that person. So when they're coming at you with those pity plays, or when they're claiming somebody's ill or they're ill and they're reaching out and you want to help them, and then they've got those puppy dog eyes on to pull you in on your empathy, to pull you in on your sympathy. Those puppy dog eyes pull on our heartstrings. They soften our mood with whatever's happened in the background. With a narcissist, they're only going to soften their mood as and when they please, if they want to exploit someone. With us, because we care about somebody, when they're doing the pity plays and they've got the pity play look within their eyes, it can soften our mood. It can give us those feelings of forgiveness, of, oh, they didn't mean it. Oh, they're not really that bad, are they? Well, if only I hadn't, they wouldn't. But look at them. And then when they come at you with, remember when we did this, to pull those memories up, to pull those emotions into play, to pull those emotions into force. And they are intense emotions when they've been idolising and love bombing and then future faking, giving you that false hope, that when they come with those puppy dog eyes, it is also very intense. What we have to remember is their pattern of behaviour. Are they ever truly there for us when we needed them the most, or do they walk away from us when we needed them the most? Are they around for us when they need us? Do they leave us when they don't need us? There's the whole pattern of behaviour, there's a whole manipulation going on, there's a whole gaslighting going on. So things like, are they promising things and then never delivering? And yes, we can all make a promise in a moment and not deliver, but we would be aware, we would be responsible for our behaviour, we would be responsible for why we haven't done something. We would explain it in a way of why we didn't do it, not that we didn't do it because of what someone else did. So it's watching the whole patterns behaviour, as well as watching how you feel around someone. If you don't feel like you can be yourself around someone, if you don't feel safe around somebody, if you feel like you're losing who you are, if you're constantly questioning your words, your actions, your emotions, if you daren't speak up to somebody for the basic things of how you are feeling in a moment, and they're not there to be supportive of you, they are not the one for you. Narcissist or not, if someone is going to continue to hurt you and let you down, they are not the people you want to be around. Abuse is abuse, mental or physical or psychological, it is still abuse. the narcissist personality disorder can be the reason behind some people's treatment towards you. It is not an excuse of their mistreatment of you. There is no excuse to abuse another person. And nobody does anything to deserve being treated that way. Any examples of a narcissist stare that you recognise, please do add them into the comments. And remember today to do things that make you smile, that make you happy. Do something working towards your future, but also try and do something that you can enjoy in the present moment, creating those happy memories for you that you can now take with you into your future. I shall add in the description the video for the narcissist smirk, because often that can come along with the stare at the same time. I shall add the free resource to help break free from narcissistic abuse and the other online courses that I do have to help guide you through leaving a narcissistic relationship and understand everything you've been through. There is also the Surviving Narcissism channel with Dr. Les Carter and Linda. He has a book and Linda has a book. There's also a free resource that they do, which I shall also link into the description, and the books will be in the Amazon link at the bottom. If anyone has any advice, please also add that into the comments. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye.